Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time coming across my video, thank you for stopping by, and if you are a returning subscriber, you are welcome back. So today's tutorial will be about the making of this top, this buba top that you see on your screen. If this sounds like something you're interested in, keep on watching and let's get into the tutorial. So guys, on my table you can see the things I'll be making use of. I have my doll face, then the lace I'll be using for this top. Okay, I also have my tape, my scissors, and the zipper. So this doll face will be for the skirt. So the first thing I'll go ahead to do now is to open up my lace this way. Then I'll go ahead to fold it like so. That is simply bringing the upper and the lower part of the lace together. Then I'll go ahead to arrange it this way. So the length of the lace in a fold will be the length of my top. I'm using the length of the lace as the length of my top. You know it's in a fold, right? So here I have about 25 inches for the length of the lace. And since I'll be cutting the back and the front together, I'll go ahead to fold it this way. And in order to know the amount of fabric to fold this way, you're going to be dividing your hip circumference, that is the largest part of your body. I'm going to be dividing it by 4 plus some inches to that. So my client's hip circumference is 36 inches. Divided by 4 will be 9 inches. So I added few inches to that for ease and for seam allowance. Then I'll just go ahead to adjust it. It was too much, the allowance was too much, so I just got ahead to adjust it. Then I'll go ahead to cut it out. So now this is what we have after cutting it out. This is for the front and the back of the top, right? This is my hip circumference divided by 4 plus few inches for ease and for seam allowance. Then this is the length I have. I folded my lace into two to get the length of my top. The next thing I'll go ahead to do now is to take the depth and the wideness of the neck. So for the wideness, I'll be making use of 3.5 inches, and for the depth, I'll also be making use of the same 3.5 inches. As for the front and back neckline, since I'll be cutting both together, and if you want it to be wider, you can go ahead to use 4 inches, 4.5 inches, depending on the size of the person you are making for. For the armhole, I'll go ahead to divide the bust circumference by 6. Then instead of adding 1.5 inches, I'll just go ahead to add 2.5 inches. Then I'll go ahead to make a notch. I added 1 more inch because this is a buba top, so it's supposed to be free. I added that for ease. Now just go ahead to cut out the neck area just the way you see me doing. Now opening it up, this is what we have it looking like. Okay, remember we are cutting the back and the front together. So the next thing I'll go ahead to do now is to cut out the sleeve for this top. I just go ahead to fold another lace this way just to get the trimming at the end of my sleeve. So I'll just go ahead to fold it. Remember, the amount of fabric to fold here is what you have on your round armhole measurement. Remember, we made use of 8.5 inches, right? So for the wideness of the sleeve, we'll be making use of 8.5 inches, which is what we have around the armhole area. Then for the length, we'll be making use of 14 inches, so I'll add half inch to that, making it 14.5 inches for joining. Now the next thing I'll go ahead to do now is to mark it and cut it out. Now the sleeve is ready. As you can see, this is how it's going to be on the top. Now the next thing I'll go ahead to do now is to bring my bias tape and go ahead to turn the neck of the top. Take this over to the sewing machine to do that and bring it back for us to see. And this is it. You can see how neat it came out. This is it after I was done turning it. So the next thing now is to stitch I'll go ahead to shape this top from that notch I made earlier. Then I also go ahead to sew the sleeves together, and I did that, and this was what I came out with. I just go ahead to trim it and turn it to the right side, just the way you see me doing. Now this is what we have it looking like. This is what we have our top looking like. Now the next thing we are going to do now is to attach the sleeves to the body of the top, and that will be all for this tutorial. I'll just go ahead to take this vertical sewing machine to do that, and this is what we have the top looking like. You can see how neat it came out. I've already gone ahead to press this at this point, and you can see how neat and beautiful it came out. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in my next one. Bye.